I've been having a lot of fun with the SNES Mini Classic, but of course some people will notice that it has a large lack of games compared to its 8-bit predecessor. Now, I know it sounds like I'm pulling a Dudley Dursley by demanding more games, but considering that the SNES Mini has over 500 megabytes of memory and only half of that's being used for games, you can't help but feel there's just a little room for a few more. Before I start this wishlist, I'd just like to note that I'm trying to be at least semi-realistic with my choices, so that means that I won't be including licensed games, so no Turtles in Time as much as it pains me, and no games that are the intellectual property of Rare, since Rare is now owned by Microsoft and I don't really know how any of the legal issues would work. Finally, I will not be including sequels or prequels to games that are already on the system. This rule is really more for the sake of variety than anything else. So without further ado, here's Snooty Nerds, top 10 games that I wish were on the SNES Mini Classic, but aren't. Already I can hear the outcry. Chrono Trigger, only number 10? Are you insane? Of course I'm not insane. I have a t-shirt that adheres to the fact. Yes, Chrono Trigger is one of the best RPGs ever made. The story, battle system, characters, and multiple endings were phenomenal back then, and they still hold up today. And since the rest of Square's Big 4 Super Nintendo RPGs are already included on the system, it just doesn't make sense to not include Chrono Trigger. It's like the Beatles without Ringo! But Snooty Nerd, I hear you ask, if you speak so highly of the game, why is it only at number 10? Quite simply because everyone else puts it at number 1 or 2 on their lists. I'm only putting it at number 10 so that the most predictable entry is already out of the way. More two-player games were needed for the system, so I find it strange that Legend of the Mystical Ninja wasn't included. Although I've heard that the Japanese version of the SNES Mini got this game instead of Earthbound, which is why it's so low on the list, but the question remains, why not have both? Just the fact that it's a great action-adventure with two-player co-op is reason enough to win it a spot on the list, but throw in the over-the-top Japanese humour and you've got the perfect drinking buddy game. Let's take a trip back to simpler times, back when Harvest Moon was the perfect feel-good experience. True, the franchise has gotten stale in more recent years, and yes, I am talking about those boring Story of Seasons titles, which is why the simplicity of the first game would be such a breath of fresh air nowadays. Building up your farm is both incredibly addictive and satisfying, as is reaping the rewards of romantic conquest. Especially since this is one of the few games that let you have all the alcohol you can drink if you make friends with a barmaid. Seriously, what other game gives you free liquor? One of the SNES Mini Classic's main selling points, that is to say the reason for its high price tag, was the inclusion of 2 control pads so that you could have multiplayer. Yet, it doesn't come with any cooperative beat-em-ups. Yeah, it doesn't really add up, does it? But one that I remember quite fondly is Capcom's Dungeons & Dragons style beat-em-up, King of Dragons. In addition to the energizing soundtrack, there are 5 different classes to play as, each with a different playstyle. Case in point, characters that carry shields actually have the option to block! That is incredible! A character carrying a shield, and it isn't just for decoration! Another genre that Nintendo suspiciously neglected to include on the system was 2D shooting games. I can already see the complaints in the comments section about me putting this cute one up on the list instead of something like UN Squadron. But ask yourself, does the home console version of UN Squadron have co-op? No? Then shut up! The cutesy anime art style doesn't mean that you should stay away from it. It still has fun, challenging gameplay, good power-ups, and excellent music. This is a game that perfectly exemplified classic pre-Trainwreck Konami. Returning to the beat-em-up genre, the main one that springs to mind on the SNES is Capcom's Final Fight series. The third installment was my favourite of the trilogy because the fighting got a massive overhaul, giving you more attack options like dashing attacks and Street Fighter-style input commands. Unlike the first game, it also has co-op. And even if you can't find somebody to play with, you can even have an artificial intelligence controlling the second player. Well, if you want. Did you hear the one about the Shrine Maiden and the Tanuki? How they lure people in with their cute anime aesthetics, only to have enemies and high-velocity projectiles coming at you from every which way? Wow, when I say it like that, it almost sounds like a honey trap. Oh my god. Nonetheless, this game is a solid shoot-em-up with difficulty that's right up there with Contra, and once again, it has 2-player co-op. And looking at the cartoonish visuals and heavy influences of Japanese folklore, it almost looks like Contra and Mystical Ninja had a baby. Yet another 2-player shooting game. You want to get your money's worth of that second control pad after all. Wild Guns could very well be one of the best gallery shooters of all time. The Wild West gets even wilder with a variety of powerful guns, explosions every few seconds, and off-the-wall battles against giant robots. Cowboys and mechanoids? Does Red Dwarf have anything to do with this? Part of the fun of computer games is feeling empowered and that you're in control, and what could be more empowering than a game where you play a literal god? ActRaiser is a happy marriage between an action side-scroller and a simulation game, so you have all the fun of smiting your enemies and slaying demons, as well as the addictive satisfaction of building up a prospering civilization. And of course, having people literally worshipping you for your deeds is the ultimate ego boost.
Oh, don't grovel. One thing I can't stand, it's people groveling.
Sorry.
And don't apologize. Every time I try to talk to someone, it's sorry this and forgive me that and I'm not worthy.
Marth is obviously a popular character in Super Smash Bros., so why not make the Fire Emblem game where you actually play as him more widely available? Mr. Indy Emblem is actually 2 games in one. The first of these is a 16-bit remake of the original Fire Emblem, and the other is a completely new campaign taking place afterwards. It's a story that's never been officially released outside of Japan, but it has been referenced in supplementary materials. There's also a few features not seen in Fire Emblem games of today, like the option to have mounted units dismount, changing their weaknesses around and opening up new strategies. Since the second campaign has never been released outside of Japan before, the SNES Mini would have been a perfect opportunity to finally give to Western release. Like with the inclusion of Star Fox 2, it would have been a massive selling point for the system. Let's be honest, Nintendo has no intention of turning off the Fire Emblem faucet anytime soon, so maybe someday we'll see the secret grand adventure of the Hero King Marth on Nintendo's online program. So those are the 10 games that I would have liked to see on the SNES Mini. What are yours? Have fun in the comments section.